If you have ever walked into the gym and felt like everyone is watching you, or maybe you're afraid of walking into the gym because this is a fear that you have, this video is for you and these are my notes. It's time to clock in. In today's video, I want to go over a 4-step process to help you overcome gym anxiety, things that I know really work. And I also want to share my own personal experience with gym anxiety. Before I was Coach Gemma and before I was confident in the gym, I really struggled with these things, and I know that this works. And that's why I really felt compelled to make this video, because I know the power that this kind of stuff can have on your confidence in and outside of the gym, and I want everyone to feel this way. So a bit of my origin story and how I felt before I became a coach. So let's run it back a little bit. Prior to joining the gym, I spent a long period of time procrastinating starting. I didn't feel confident in my body. I was not prioritizing myself, and I just knew that I wanted to change. When I finally did join the gym, I would sheepishly walk in and only go to the ground level, which was the female only area of the gym. I remember just going from one to the next piece of equipment in order of how it was laid out, and then I would go on the treadmill and leave. That was all I felt comfortable to do, and I would never go on the second level of the gym because it was I felt intimidated. And then what ended up happening from that, so I didn't really make any progress. Yes, some exercise is always better than nothing, but it didn't get me the lean toned physique I wanted. I didn't feel like my confidence was I didn't feel like I was growing any confidence. If anything, it was staying stunted because I wasn't pushing myself outside my comfort zone. And eventually, because of that, I just dropped off and didn't train any longer because I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted. And then that even became its own issue because I was afraid of the conflict of when I wanted to quit, them questioning while I was quitting. So I even procrastinated that. So this cycle of low confidence is something that extended beyond just the results in the gym. Now, eventually I did a boot camp style of workout, I did classes, and then I went back into training at a different gym, and I trained with a friend, and I built up my confidence that way before getting a structured training program. But what I wanted to start this video with is the way that you feel is something that I understand. It is something that a lot of people feel, but maybe they don't speak about that often. The feeling of judgment, the feeling of being unsure, the feeling of thinking that you're doing the wrong thing, the feeling of not wanting to try new things. Like, I get all of those feelings, but I really don't think that it's just something that you have, like as in she just has gym confidence and she doesn't. I think that it is an exposure thing. It is a mindset thing. It is a putting yourself outside your comfort zone willingly, knowing that there's so many good benefits from that. And it's honestly something that I think can be learned through exposure, through repetitiveness, and through structure and knowing what you're doing. So that's what I wanted to get into today. I have a 4-step process that I have tried and tested and I know works with building gym confidence. So that's what I'm going to break down. Before I break down that though, I wanted to kind of cover 3 or 4 things that I know actually make gym anxiety worse. So if you're doing these at the moment, I want you to stop because it's going to make it so much harder for you. So one of those things is doing random things and lots of things every single time you go to the gym, and following lots of random bits of advice, it becomes overwhelming. So an example would be if I went into the gym and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 12 exercises today and I'm gonna do 4 or 5 sets of each thing. Like, that is a lot of 1, volume, but 2, a lot of skills to acquire with how to do each of those insert 10 to 12 exercises. So that will make things more overwhelming and harder to actually get better at. So I would avoid doing that. I would also avoid training at prime time if possible. I know that's not always possible, but if it is possible, definitely do that, because when there's lots of bodies and there's lots of people, fighting for equipment, it provides another layer of feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So try to avoid doing that when possible. Please avoid comparing yourself, your physique, your strength, your progress with anyone who's been in the gym for years. It will benefit no one, and it will only make your own wins and progress feel so small, and it's just not something we need to do. So I only really want you to think when it comes to progress in the gym, like, how did you go last week compared to this week? The wins don't always have to be like a scale weight win. It could be something along the lines of you didn't used to train and now you train 3 days per week. Like, that's phenomenal. It could be you used to, leg press 40 kilos and now you're leg pressing 60 kilos. Like, that's what you need to be focusing on, and that is what is going to build your confidence. Stop overthinking things and start just trying them and giving yourself grace to try them. You're not bad at the gym, you're just new. This is the same with any skill. We all hate feeling like we're a newbie, and we often avoid things. Like, for example, if you have something on your program and you're a little bit unsure about it, you might be inclined to think, I'm just gonna skip it. But every time you skip it, you avoid getting good at it. So don't skip it. You just need to give yourself some time and space to figure out maybe how to set it up, how to do it, and then that process is what actually builds your confidence, builds your strength, and again, you've acquired a new skill. So don't avoid the things because of that feeling. Know that that feeling is what is necessary to get good at absolutely anything. Now, the 4-step plan. It is time to clock in. So number one, I want you to be following a structured training program, because a structured training program is going to allow you to acquire the skills, because you're going to be repeating, and that repetition is going to allow you to get good at everything, good at the form. You're going to see more progress, because when you repeat the movement and your body gets used to you doing something repetitively and you're progressing in the movement, that's where strength is built. So following a structured training program is a non-negotiable for building gym confidence. It's going to remove decision fatigue, and it's going to help you walk into the gym and know exactly what to do. Now, before I said avoid going in and doing, say, 12 exercises, when I think about a structured training program, and a great place to start as a gym newbie would be 3 full body sessions per week, and those workouts having, say, 5 or 6 exercises. Now, the good thing about that is, one, it removes the decision fatigue because you don't have to think every single session, what am I doing? But 2, having it laid out that way allows you to focus your energy and your time into just what you're doing in the gym and less about what's happening in your external environment. So this could look like walking into the gym, starting on the treadmill for 5 to 10 minutes, then looking at your program and following it step by step, and then you're done. It really will help you feel calmer and more in control and give you more direction with what to do in the gym. That program could look like starting on, goblet squats or a leg press, doing a leg extension, doing a hamstring curl, doing a shoulder press, and doing a lying hamstring curl, for example. So 5 or 6 key exercises, and then you're done, 45 minutes. You don't need to spend 2 hours at the gym, and you don't need to do 12 exercises to get really good progress. This is where I would start. Really think of structure as the thing that creates confidence. Familiarity, repetition, exposure, getting good at stuff. This is what we want to be embracing. Number 2, I really want you to try and shrink the gym to just one workout or a few things that you're doing each time you go, rather than going and thinking that you need to master absolutely everything day one, because you don't. So I want you to just focus on those 5 or 6 exercises, mentally just thinking about shrinking the task and shrinking how long you need to be there, and then getting more comfortable with knowing that you don't need to have all of those things day one. Just start here. 3, when possible, go to the gym at quieter times. And what that looks like, for me, it's really busy at my gym between, say, 6 and 7, and then again between 5 and 7. So if you could train either earlier than that during the day, if you're studying or have flexible work hours or a shift worker, and then later at night or before that peak hour, that's really going to help, because there's less bodies in the gym. And while you're going through this skill acquisition and getting comfortable phase, it will be beneficial if you can do that when there's less people around. So try to go at quieter times if possible. 4, I want you to stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for insert the perfect time. Stop waiting for this feeling that you think you're gonna feel, and then all of a sudden everything's gonna click. You're not just gonna magically feel ready. You just need to make a move and start. And I know this because I would have spent 9 to 12 months before I initially started at the gym waiting for that feeling, and it just didn't come. So you will feel awkward, you will be a beginner, you will be okay. Embrace those things rather than avoiding them. This is literally the process. Anyone who you've ever looked up to for their strength, for their confidence, for their physique. They are doing the stuff that you're avoiding. You don't get to skip it, and they didn't either, and that's why they are where they are. So I really want you to start thinking of the being the newbie, the being the beginner, and being in this phase as a necessary means to having any meaningful result. If you want a phenomenal result, you need to put yourself out there and stop avoiding being uncomfortable. If you stay stuck in your comfort zone and you stay stuck not wanting to try these things, you will quite literally stay stuck in the same cycle because you refuse to try anything different. So please embrace being a newbie, embrace feeling like you don't really know what you're doing just yet, but know that there is a process that can help you get to the other side. As long as you lock in, trust the process, and just keep showing up for yourself. I've seen this play out within a 3 to 4 week window where you go from being a bit anxious that first week in the gym to week 4, I don't even think about what anyone else is doing at the gym. I'm feeling really strong. I'm feeling really good. So what I would love you to do is commit to this process for a 4-week period, following a structured training program, training when the gym is less busy, committing to just showing up even if it feels uncomfortable and even if it's not perfect, and knowing that on the other side, when you put in the work, all of these things will be a distant memory and you'll be thinking, I wish I started this sooner. And I know because I felt that way, and everyone that I help tells me this as well. So this is just a reminder that you don't need to wait for a burst of motivation. You don't even need to wait to feel motivated all the time. And on the theme of motivation, I don't think in the long term that is going to be a reliable source of consistency. What would be more beneficial for consistency and results would be having a structured training program to follow, having routine and repetition. So if you can train at the same time and the same day, it's going to help you just get into the swing of things. You don't want to have to think, what am I going to do? You want to just have these set rhythms that you fall into and routine where it just becomes second nature. Just remember that the women who look confident, they have just stuck it out for a bit longer than you, and you can be that woman. You have the capability, you have the skills. It just comes down to whether you're willing to show up for yourself for long enough to reap the rewards of the confidence, the strength, and the progress. So I want you to give yourself 4 weeks of this process. You're going to go to the gym with a structured training program. You're going to try to train when it's off peak. You're going to push through that initial feeling of discomfort. You're going to keep showing up for yourself. You're going to back yourself. And I want you to report back on how you're feeling at the end of this 4-week period, because I know how good you're going to feel. Now, if you've liked this style of video, please let me know, because YouTube is fairly new to me, and in 2026 is something that I would like to prioritize, but I'm just trialing different formats, seeing what works, seeing what you like, seeing what I like making. So I am open to feedback and I would love to hear from you. If you want me to elaborate on anything in particular, it could be gym anxiety, it could be any other thing to do with the gym that you would love a dedicated video on, please let me know and I will add it to my little board of ideas and I will try to bring that to you. And if this is the first time you've ever seen my account, thank you for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.